Hello again.
Welcome.
Episode 6, right?
Episode 7.
7. Oh my gosh. How did we get here?
I don't know.
Honestly, if we just think back, it wasn't that long ago that we were sitting in that hotel room in the Isti Hotel recording our first podcast. Now we're on episode 7, and I've lost track already. So, wow, I'm proud of us.
I know, me too. It's been so nice to keep reminiscing every week. So fun. And so, yeah, today we said we would be talking about arriving back home and how did we go about finding studio space and teaching our first classes back home, how it felt to teach that first class, and really, I guess, the becoming of yoga teachers in practice.
Mm. Yeah, because obviously you had taught a couple of classes in Thailand. So again, totally different perspectives on this from both of us, which I think is really nice. So I got back to the UK, it was at the end of May, I think. I got back to the UK and I hadn't taught any yoga since being at One Yoga. I'd practiced a lot myself. I'd actually started doing some Ashtanga. So I was kind of that real because I was like, I feel like I need some structure. I feel like I need some discipline because everything else felt everywhere. So Ashtanga for me was kind of like that felt like what I needed in that moment. So I was trying to find somewhere to practice Ashtanga when I got back to the UK as well. So in terms of like teaching yoga, I didn't teach for the first month that I was back in the UK because for me that was really the time where everything was integrating. And I know we've said like the couple of weeks after the course, getting back to the UK and you're coming back and everything within you and out, like everything is so different with yourself. And then it's trying to just integrate everything that you learnt back into a more normal life in the UK. Like it was quite a lot to manage, I would say. So I kind of gave myself like a month to chill, be slow, and just settle in where I was. Because I think one of my things is I'm always like, right, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. But actually, sometimes you just need to stop. Like we'd been on one hell of a journey, and I think the integration actually is probably the most important part. I think if I had taught too soon, I wouldn't have been able to share from the space that I wanted to share from. For me, everything was all still a bit like hadn't properly landed. Like, yeah, I wasn't in the space to share the love. So I really needed that month to just connect back and settle. And then I was like, right, now's the time. It then got to a point where I was like, if I leave it any longer, it's going to be really difficult to teach because like you then have like all these stories in your mind, don't you, of like, oh my God, and you start challenging and questioning yourself. So then it got to the point where I was like, right, I've given myself a month and now I need to just go and do the thing. And I remember the first class that I taught, the gym that I was a member at, they allowed me to use the space there, which I was so grateful for, really, really grateful. So I had a meeting with a guy from the gym and he was like, B, the space is yours, use it, put some yoga classes on. We've got the members here already, and I know them all already. I'm already part of this community. And I was like, okay, I just need to do the thing. So what I said to him was that I was gonna I was gonna gift some yoga, just do some free sessions for them because obviously I'd never taught before. And these guys had maybe some of them had never experienced it before. So I thought, win-win. I get the practice, they get to experience it as well. So I think I did like a week where I did like 3 classes in that week and they were all full class.
Amazing.
And I remember that first class that I taught, it was like, do you know what? I felt so calm. It just felt right. And I knew as soon as I started teaching, it was like something just took over and it was just like, this is love. This is pure love right here. And I'm so glad that allowed myself to kind of come out the other side of the journey that I went on because this feels like exactly what I'm meant to be doing. And I knew it in the first class. Yeah. And I had a lot of feedback. A lot of people were like, B, your energy is so different to before you went to Thailand. And I was like, yeah, I've been on one hell of a healing journey, guys. And I'm so glad that I have. Like that's really the yoga doing its thing, right? And if I can, I'm really embodying everything that we learned in the philosophy and the practice, and like just all of it together, like I did feel different and I was showing up differently, and I was able to then serve those other people in that way as well from that space, and it was really beautiful. So for me, I was fortunate enough to already have a community in the UK, and I was teaching as soon as I wanted to teach. I was able to, I had 3 classes in a week, right? I then got on, so I thought, right, maybe I'll start messaging. So I've got different gyms and leisure centers and stuff around here. So I thought each day I was like, I'll message maybe 2 new people. I didn't want to overwhelm myself with it, but I also really wanted to share the gift. So I then got in touch. I had a meeting at another gym, and she offered me a class, and I was then put on the cover list there. And then in my mind, there was this one gym that I was like, if I can teach there, then I've like, I've nailed it. It took me, which is crazy, isn't it? We put some places up on a pedestal, right? If you can share yoga, you can share yoga anywhere. But for me, this place was like, I don't know if I'm good enough to teach there. And I felt that, the judgment coming in. But I got in touch with them and they put me straight on the cover list, and I've been teaching there now as well. So like, you've just got to put yourself out there. The world needs more yoga. Like, there is enough people in the world for everyone to have enough students as well. So it doesn't need to be pressured, or for me it's kind of just naturally flowed, and it's been really nice, actually. There's been no drama. Yeah. So that's me. What about you?
Wow, that's so special, that you have that community, and I think community is so important. So for me, what is a little bit different? So as you said, yeah, I did teach a couple of classes in Thailand, and that was great because I managed to find strangers to come to my class at One Yoga. So One Yoga is really great about this. They give you access to the space, to one of the shalas for a month after you graduate. And because I was still going to be traveling around, and I felt ready to teach and I really wanted to get out there, I taught a couple of classes there. And it was so lovely to finally get in front onto the mat, teach people I didn't know, and also people who are not familiar with yoga, right? Because we got so used to being with the other teachers, and everyone obviously knew what all the asanas were, etc., etc. Whereas here, I had people come who had never done yoga before. And for me, the greatest gift was that actually, very recently this week, I heard from one of the guys, and he said that that class changed everything for him, and he's been practicing almost every day since.
Wow, that is so
Yeah,
beautiful. How nice.
that was so nice. Honestly, that's I think the best gift you can have is someone telling you that they came to your class and it made them fall in love with yoga. So that was so special. And then obviously I continued to travel for a couple of months, but I guess on month 3 to 4 of traveling, I really felt that urge to come back to Europe, Europe being home for me, and starting to teach, really starting to share, as you mentioned, that gift with other people and starting that new life, because I had a very different life before I left. And so coming back, I had to think about where to get things going, and I decided to come to Budapest, which I am in now. Um, my father is Hungarian, and so there are some ties to Budapest, which made it a little bit easier for me to come here. And so for me, then it was really starting from scratch. I didn't know anyone here that, was of my age, or I have, a couple of family members, but not in the sense if I didn't have any friends here, I didn't have a community here. So the way I approached it was I had a look at all the studios, and then I just started booking a class at a different studio every day. And I would just show up, go to the class, and then have a chat with them. And it was so funny because the first one I went to was all in Hungarian, and I don't speak Hungarian. And the teacher was actually the owner. And because it was the summer, there wasn't anyone else there. And I, said to her at the end, oh, well, like I'm a teacher as well. Like she knew when we practiced together. And she said, well, look, I'm not looking for any teachers right now, but I really liked your energy during the class. And again, that's also a great compliment. Your energy is so important and you have to protect that, I think. And that's why it's important to teach and show up when you have the right energy. And so that was really nice. And then really basically just by through that process, I managed to find a studio here. And now I teach at that studio 3 times a week. And I also teach online on a regular basis on a Monday. So I have my online community, my in-person community, and yeah, sometimes I also have some privates, which is really nice and really special. But yeah, it's I think my challenge here is building that community. And you said your classes were full. My classes are not full yet at all. And I'm just, step by step showing up, just keep showing up until people start to get to know me here.
And it will come, like, and this is it, protecting off of the back of what you mentioned about energy. You become that magnet. So your own practice being your main priority, and then you can share this gift with other people, and the more people you share it with, it's just that ripple effect, and you'll find that people will bring friends, they'll bring family, like it will come. And I think from what we've both said, community sounds like it's the main thing here. So if we could give anyone, like, top tip is to really start building a community. So once you've done your yoga teacher training, community is where it's at, because that's what yoga is all about at the end of the day as well, isn't it? It's about that unity, it's about that joining. And if you can start your own little community, people will follow you where you are. And you know, some people might have done yoga in the past and not had a good experience of it. I would always suggest that they try it again, because you've just got to find the right teacher for you. And again, we're not going to be the right teachers for everybody. Some people don't align with our energy or our style, and that's okay. But yeah, I think community is everything. Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what also I'm trying to put my energy into here, creating those new friendships, those
Mhm.
connections, and then showing up at the studio and still keep going even if one person shows up to the class. So I just say to them, oh,
Consistency.
amazing, you've got a
Yeah.
private class today.
Yeah. And how nice. And I actually, do you know what? A small class is actually quite nice as well. I think I had a class the other day, there was 4 people in it, at one of the gyms, and you know what, we had a great time because
Hmm.
I was able to offer hands-on adjustments. We were really like breaking down the poses, like it was just a totally different experience for them. um so yeah, sometimes the smaller classes are nice, more intimate, aren't they?
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
definitely.
you just got to keep showing up. You've got to keep being consistent and keep putting your energy into that space. And knowing that this is a phrase that one of my friends shared with me: Rome wasn't built in a day. He wrote it in my journal actually, and he reminds me of this when I'm like, in next year, just little bits over time. We've got our whole life to do this as well, which is beautiful.
That's very true. And I think it's important to take the time to reflect, maybe, every week, every month, just take that moment to look back at that previous month and see everything we've achieved. And we've always achieved so much, much more than we realize.
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, the other thing I just wanted to ask you was, how do you feel now compared to your first class? I feel like every single time I teach, something else unlocks and
Yeah.
something else becomes a bit more fluid and second nature. And just every single class just keeps getting better and better. And that's such an amazing feeling.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, it's that reflection that helps you to be able to see that growth and that journey that we're on as yoga teachers. Because as yoga teachers, we're new teachers for the first couple of years. You've got to remember this as well. So we're still very new. I've only been teaching, what, 3 months or so? It's really not a long time. Um, for me, every time I teach, yeah, I guess the confidence comes, doesn't it? The more you do the things. I don't plan so much now. So I'm definitely more intuitive, kind of reading the energy of the room, and I'm able to kind of connect in that way. So yeah, my classes feel different now.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I think I also adapt. So I teach the breath work, and I think depending on the energy in the class, I'll either be more activating or a bit more of a slower type of breath work, like, connecting more with the um, parasympathetic nervous system. But the thing is, though, I do try and come up with a theme for the week
Yeah.
because I find that's quite nice. And so this week has been grounding.
I
So that's been a really nice week. Last week we had kind of a balancing and focus, and I quite like doing that at the moment, picking a theme. But
yeah,
I think it's that next level for sure. The intuition to connect with the energy in the room and then delivering a class that is what people need.
yeah.
That's
It
amazing.
comes, it comes. And for me, I'm definitely more about the philosophy. So the themes for my class have been more philosophical. So there was one class that I went into the koshas, the 5 layers of the being, and it was honestly like it just came out of me, and I was like, "But actually, that really flowed. That was a great way to experience that part of the philosophy." Like I
That's
really enjoyed that. So for me, yeah, it's more the meditations are always themed, but sometimes they're to do with the philosophy as well. Um, yeah. So I think we have themes in different ways. It's really beautiful, isn't it? I feel like I want to come to Budapest and come to one of your classes.
I want to come to to see you as well and do the
Yeah,
same. Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, it would be so great to experience that. I'm sure we will at
I'm
some
sure we
point.
will. I'm sure.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I think, yeah, the philosophy, we both love the philosophy, and we do need to also maybe talk a little bit more about that. Maybe that's the next topic. Next
yeah,
time we touch upon one of the philosophical
yeah.
parts of the training.
I mean, there's so much, hey, and obviously then you resonate with different parts more than others. Um, so yeah, we can pick apart and just delve in a little and be good for us as well to kind of just go over it again. And
Definitely,
I think
definitely.
when you can then teach it, that's how you learn it. You can then embody it a little bit more, can't you? So yeah, yeah. I would like to think that people that come to my class take a little nugget of wisdom with them away. And it's nice when you see people in meditation and I say and you can just see it landing. Like you can see them like holding the heart or you can see them like nodding like and it's hit something or it's touched something within them. And for me that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the most amazing sort of feedback you can get from a class, really, when they're really embodying it.
Yeah.
That's so special. Okay, well, great. Well, I'm
Oh,
excited for next week talking
yeah,
about philosophy. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.
yeah. Enjoy.
Bye.